As African millennials, what you want to actively do is to invest in yourself. Why? Because you need to earn in such a way that you're ahead of inflation at every single point in time. When I say invest in yourself, I'm talking about invest in your ability to earn more so that you can be able to earn enough for you to be able to keep money in some store of value somewhere else. It's not about really the investment itself. It's about my store of value. So that if, for instance, I'm not saying CBN is going to devalue. I'll explain what devaluation means. But everybody here becomes slightly poorer, including myself. But because I have a store of value, I have 40 naira off every dollar, right? So I bring it back. And that's what a lot of people are really doing because you need a store of value in a unstable economy. The people that bring their money here as foreign investors don't bring it and keep it here. They bring it because they feel the returns we get here, you've pretty much said is going to be stable. So let's see the cost of money, cost of risk. By the time we put it here, we'll be able to make some money back from you. I'm back to the point of where do you put your money into? As African millennials, see where everybody's looking at me now. At this point, what you want to actively do is to invest in yourself. I know everybody's like, what does it mean? Why? Because you need to earn in such a way that you're ahead of inflation at every single point in time. Investments in Nigeria are not very great. I'm not even going to lie to you. They're not very great. If you want to go into lending people money, people like Carbon will tell you that people don't pay. Is it a lie? So there's risk of default. Although they priced it into their loans, but there's risk of default. And they're an institution and they've been able to get foreign funding, so at least they can weather the first storm. You are an individual. How are you going to do that? When I say invest in yourself, I'm talking about invest in your ability to earn more so that you can be able to earn enough for you to be able to keep money in some store of value somewhere else. There was supposed to be an OPEC meeting. If you don't know what OPEC means, it's an organization, petroleum exporting countries. So there's OPEC and OPEC Plus. There are a few countries that were not part of the original OPEC who have an alliance with OPEC. So they were supposed to agree within themselves because of the coronavirus outbreak. There's been reduced demand for crude oil across the world, and they were supposed to agree to cut back oil by 1 million barrels per day. But at the meeting, I don't know what happened at that meeting. I'm still trying to find out. Not only did they not agree to cut 1 million barrels per day, they ended up adding more to the market, even at a discount. So what is happening now is that Saudi Arabia, at the end of this month, is going to add another 3 million barrels per day. Russia is looking to add another 2 million barrels per day. Nigeria, too, is talking in the mix. I don't know why we're talking, but yeah. But what this means is that crude oil could go as low as $10 per barrel. Could go as low as $10 per barrel. Because if you have too much supply, people doing discounts, crude oil prices will fall naturally. What this means is that as of today, for every $1 we earn, we pay 60 cents in debt service. And we put our benchmark at $57 per barrel. That means if it falls to even the levels it is right now, we can't even pay our debt. Talk less of money to go around. And you know Nigeria, if there's no government money going around, yes. So there are two things that we're at risk of. One, a recession, which I'm not really afraid of, but it's the second one I'm really bothered about. The CBN is determined to defend the Naira to the end. This is a good and a bad thing. It's a good thing because at least till our foreign reserves fall to $30 billion, there's no real risk of devaluation. But because of where the price is now, it can fall very quickly. And we would have wasted $10 billion just defending something that is not defendable. And will now still devalue after wasting $10 billion. So it's a good and a bad thing. So if you have any questions, I'll take questions now. About the stock exchange, actually. So it's pretty much like insurance. You know, insurance doesn't really replace they just take you back to where you were. So for instance, if you buy a brand new car and then you crash the brand new car, the insurance company is not going to buy you a brand new car. They are going to buy you a car that is at that level as of when you crash the car. So pretty much what hedging does, and all investors do it, hedging is basically to make sure that if everything goes bad, I will still be at the same level I was before while I'm still trying to invest. So that's what you really want to do. Well, I will tell you this. I was actively involved in campaigning for the stock exchange in 2014, 2015 when we were going into the last recession. And I remember that after former President Goodluck Jonathan called President Buhari to congratulate him, there was something that happened in the stock exchange that day. It was called the Buhari effect. We called it the Buhari effect. The market jumped 8% that day. Everybody was like, the market is back. I was one of the people that said it. Guess what? The market is still at the levels it was then. The problem is our stock exchange, and we know this as practitioners, is not very deep. So the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is like, I mean, almost 15 times the size of our stock exchange. It's not really that deep. And what you need with money most of the time isn't really about how much you hold. It's about how much can go around. Do you get? So if Dangote, for instance, Dangote Cement sneezes on the stock exchange, the entire exchange will catch a cold. If MTN, for instance, sneezes, the entire stock exchange will catch a cold. So we don't have enough robust companies to be able to give us the lift we want. So it's still at a very shallow, it's like, you know, you are trying to bath at the edge of the river as against when you go deep. So we're really at the edge of the river. So any shock to the economy will first be on the stock exchange. And the reason why is simple. We have people called portfolio investors. Portfolio investors are investment bankers from all across the world. These people have no other job but to sit down every single day and look for where to put money across the world. They have people who have given them billions and say, just trade with my money and give me returns. So they look at everywhere. They look at Nigeria, for instance, and they say, oh, Nigeria, your returns are about 15%. By the time I insure the funds and everything, I can still make maybe 2% on your market. It's called the cost of risk. It works for me. So they'll put their money there. They put a little bit here. They put a little bit there. They own about 50% of the stock exchange. So one of the reasons why the stock market it crashes easily is that any single time you are having issues at home, including me, we are having issues at home, these guys take off. Remember, they don't care about you. You get? It's not like they have, like us, we are committed, we'll be angry. Why did the government do that? They will just carry their portfolio, and that's why they're called portfolio investors. They just carry their portfolio and cross the channel. In fact, they're not even here. That's how bad it is. They're not even here. So once they hear there's too much trouble, they reprice their assets. If it's too bad, they take it back. So once that money moves out of the stock exchange, what happens is that the market crashes. Two sides to the coin. I've been in a room where somebody was given a 2 million naira loan, and the person didn't even have accounts with the bank. It was that 2 million they used to open accounts with the bank. And there was no collateral, there was no business case. No, this was this is one of your biggest banks. The person got the loan via one of the directors in the bank said, I guarantee you to take the loan. She just needed cash, so she took a loan of 2 million naira. There are a lot of this kind of loans going around. A lot of this kind of loans of people who are supposed to be high net worth individuals just come to the bank, ask for money, don't have their paperwork together, but you don't want to upset the person you give. So a lot of the non-performing loans. Now I'll come to the lower cadre of a lot of the big non-performing loans are because they gave to people that they knew were not going to pay back. In Nigeria, if I owe you 200,000, you will most probably bring police to my house to arrest me. If I owe you 2 billion, you will bring emissaries to come and beg me to pay small. And it happens. I'm not even joking. It happens very regularly. As in the account officer and then the branch manager, they will go and meet one of his friends. Then his friend will now say, hey, we'll go and meet him tomorrow. They will now go together. They will bring gift for him and say, good afternoon, sir. We just came to remind you about this loan. We're just begging that if you can be paying small, small. We're not saying we should pay everything, though. Just be. It's the way Nigeria works. It's the corporate governance with our system. To the reverse, to the smaller people, the microfinance guys, the business environment in Nigeria is difficult. I always tell business people, I don't know what you're doing that you're going to go and collect money at the rates microfinance banks give. It's quick money, and microfinance banks are playing a vital role in our economy. But because, of course, they also have a high cost of risk, it's difficult for them to give you at lower rates. So they give you at maybe 5% a month. 5% a month translates into roughly about maybe 40%, 60% per annum. I don't know what business you are doing. In fact, I don't care what business you are doing that you pay 60% per annum back. So the system is designed to make sure that we all don't escape that trap. So the ones that escape keep at the top wasting the money. The ones at the bottom are trying to get up. So it's a debt cycle. It's a debt cycle. It's really a problem. Question one, how do you have to go there yourself to do it? No. There are a few investment houses that are helping people invest in foreign denominated mutual funds. I will not mention anybody's names because they didn't pay me to do it. So there are a few. United Capital does it. Investment One. United Capital is UBA's former. They used to be under UBA before CBN forced them to divest. Investment One is former GT, GT's house. Stanbic still does it. So what they do is that you invest in dollars, and then they help you put it into mutual funds. The part you need to ask them, though, because this is the question I was asking them and they've not gotten back to me, is, and this answers your second question. What CBN did in 2016 has never been done before. So right now, we don't know what they can do. It doesn't make sense that I would deposit physical dollars into an account and I can't transfer it. It doesn't make any sense. Why should it happen? It's like I say I deposit 50,000 naira and I can't transfer it, the money. So we don't know what they can do. That's my point. So in this question of what we're now asking them is, so what happens in a devaluation? Because CBN, what they would do is start to look for everywhere dollar is coming into the country from and start to block it. That was what they did the last time. So if you were out of the country and you were using your card, you would just be on your own and be praying to God. You probably have to learn a skill and maybe dance for people so that they give you money so that you come back. All kinds of things were happening at that time. So we don't know what can happen. So you can invest in it, you can get the returns, and then CBN will say you have to collect the returns at the old rate. It's very possible. I'm not saying it will happen, but I'm saying it's very, very possible. So as much as possible, I would advise that you just stay inside the place. Stay outside. I didn't say they spent 10 billion. I said their psychological threshold is $30 billion. And $30 billion is 6 months import cover. What that means is basically, so we have foreign reserves. Foreign reserves doesn't really mean that we have $30 billion or $40 billion as our money. It's just that every time somebody comes into your country, the person is carrying dollars. The person drops it at the border, not really the border, but it gives it to CBN, so that when the person is going back, the person collects naira, and when the person is going back, the person gives naira and collects dollars and leaves. So an import cover basically means receipts that we have here and there, people that are paid, people that need dollars. It's what we've said that will cover for 6 months. CBN believes that that is the threshold, or at least we all believe that's the threshold. That's the point where they will start to worry. No, they start worrying, but that's the point where everybody will panic. So right now we're about 37 or $38 billion, I'm not sure. But if we fall to $30 billion is where I say the panic will happen. But in that time, we would have blown $7 billion trying to defend the naira. What defending the naira basically means is that remember, has anybody seen in the news where they will say CBN pumps, they used to use that word, pumps $210 million. It's always 210. It's never 201 or 219. It's always 210 million, and they always use the word pump. They pump it. So basically, the idea is that because you want to keep the value stable, you take the hit of everything else happening around. So I want you to have 10,000 naira, but I want to give her to give her to give you, right? Now the cost of her taking the money to her is 1 naira. The cost of her giving it to him is 1 naira. But I want him to have 10 naira, right? So what I do is give her 12 naira. Because she will take her 1 naira, she will take her 1 naira, and he will still have 10 naira. So in CBN, trying to keep the value stable, the same amount, is basically doing that. So everything that is a cost on, they take it off. So that's basically what we call burning in essence. You get? So it's not as if they literally burn it, but all the cost of money around the naira, they basically take it off and keep the value at 360, which is ridiculous, but yeah, that is where we are. So insurance companies are very specific about what they insure. There's no ambiguity about what they insure. They are very specific to the latter, to the very detail, that this is what we're insuring, this is what we're insuring, this is what we're insuring. So asking them helps make it clear. And do you know what's even beautiful? If you are investing in the company, you can ring up the insurance company to ask them, we hear that you guys are insuring this particular company, what exactly are you insuring? Because I know that, for instance, there's one particular, and I say I'm close to the company, they have agric insurance. But the agric insurance doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get back, for instance, if your 10 fishes die, they will pay you for the 10 fishes. No. So, it's at the point where they insure the business. So when they insure it, you most likely have fingerlings. You don't have big fish. They will give you the fingerlings. Because that was where they insured it at, right? So you are not at zero. You are at you can start again. But also, it doesn't, because they have that insurance cover on one product, doesn't mean they have the insurance product on cover on all products. One of the things we do in the financial services space is speak a lot of ambiguity. We're ambiguous. We never are straightforward. Is a lie. We're never straightforward. We never tell you in clear terms, if you invest 1 naira, you will make 2 naira. We never tell you, because it's when you want to now collect your money, you now hear, you don't know you will pay VAT, but you're supposed to pay service charge and insurance and then premium cover. Then when we open the account, there's a small debit for the 3% that you now have to pay the 2%. Then in short, what is now remaining in your money is now 2 kobo. We are never straight like that. So there's always the possibility that they could have insured one product and say they're insuring several products. So you have to be very careful. Don't take anything to chance at all, especially because it's your money. Now, one of the biggest crowdfunding sources that I know, now also realizes that there's a problem with the agric sector in Nigeria. I'm sure all of you have heard this thing, go and farm. There's tomato wasting in Jos. It's just there wasting. It's a lie. We have an inefficient market where we don't have enough farmers, we don't have enough infrastructure, and we don't have enough markets to sell it. So a friend of mine, Mira, she's Tomato Jos. I don't know if any of you have heard about her. Tomato Jos. So she's trying to create a value chain of doing tomato paste. So she said to herself, let me not go and start doing this aggregation thing, because she had seen that aggregation is hell in Nigeria. So let me farm the tomatoes myself. Then when I have a good farm, I can then take the tomato paste factory and start working. So in trying to farm the tomatoes herself, maybe she'll be selling the tomatoes first. She'll call the market, the tomato is ready, should I bring it? They'll say no. Tomorrow, the tomato is ready, can we come? No. Remember that tomato is not 3 days after, can we bring the tomatoes now? No. Why are they saying no? Because if the tomatoes come into the market, it will crash the price of tomatoes in the market. So they are also trying to manage their prices. The aggregation is mad. So I was going to the biggest crowdfunding company, they've realized the madness in it. So they too are pivoting slightly away from this agri thing. But they won't tell you now. They will soon tell you. You'll soon hear the products. I am in the system, and that's my job to know. They are pivoting away. Okay, so quickly, the mutual funds in Naira. There is a report on all the mutual funds. A few houses publish it. Even the insurance company themselves publish it. So they give themselves a report card every year. So you can see the ones that are doing well and the ones that are not doing well. The ones that did well last year, you can use that as putting money. So some of them are good. Some of them are not so good. Because it is not about the person, it's not about the company, it's about the fund manager in the company. It's not the Formula One car, it's the driver. So the funds might be plenty, but the driver doesn't know how to maneuver. So it's about the fund manager in the company. And when fund managers leave, it also affects the fund. So you want to always pay attention. Mutual funds is something you need to always keep your eye on regularly. I struggled with cryptocurrencies at the beginning, generally because I did not understand the structure, and I still don't understand the structure around it. But the volatility is crazy. But one of them has been able to stand the test. Yes, and that's Bitcoin. And I'm not advocating for it, but I'm trying to explain the principle behind the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, in its essence, is that they've created a number of Bitcoins as of today. Nobody's creating any more. So there's no dilution of what exists today. The good thing about it is that because there's a finite amount of Bitcoins, everybody wants to be a part of owning Bitcoin. What that generally means is that it drives up prices. So everybody wants to hold it, everybody wants to hold it, everybody wants to hold it, so prices keep going up. So that has kept Bitcoin in good contention. All the other ones that have come in have basically fizzled out because they keep mining, making new ones, and then it breaks up. This is the only thing that has kept Bitcoin going. Bitcoin is, I think, about it's over $10,000 now, so it's doing pretty well. So I didn't know it was going to last this long. I predicted it would die quicker than this, but it's been there, and it looks like it's going to be there a lot longer, if I'm being honest. Yeah. So the answer is simple. PiggyVest, and I do know the founders, they will try to keep it. See, at the end of the day, CBN is still the biggest monetary policy authority in Nigeria. None of us can fight them. That's my fear. Carbon can say they want to give you free money, and they really want to give you, and CBN comes and says, no, will you still give? What will happen is that will get very popular when things are happening and money will start flowing there. And they can see the flow of money. They see it real time. And they see that, oh, these people are buying dollars at that particular place, Abi. What is happening there? Oh, you people collect, oh, you say you're storing. Oh yeah, you must return it back at 360. Do you think they'll say no? Or they'll pay you from their pocket? So I'm not saying that they will not do it. I'm just saying that who knows what the CBN is going to do.
Thank you so much, Tunji. Thank you for sharing with us. Thank you for being open, honest, and generous. We can't thank you enough.
Thank you very much.
Professional. It's always a pleasure to have someone in the thick of things in the industry to come and share knowledge, practical knowledge, I'll say. I think he did an excellent job in simplifying these things, taking us away from all the jargons of economics and finance and bringing it to life. I want to believe you must have taken something away from what he has presented. It was a good learning curve for us, and in our usual charity and hospitality, we'll probably definitely have you come back again, hopefully, and I hope you honor our invitation. It's finding like he's a very busy person and won't be available when we do, but I'm sure you feel you shared a lot. We're taking a lot from you as well, and that's usually a good thing. So thank you so much for the time well spent. We appreciate your coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'll just give you something. Our smile has finished.
I'm not sure which camera we're looking at.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.